Hello, everyone, and welcome to our fourth day of National Work Experience Week. I am Andy, as you know, from CareerMap TV. I hope everyone is having a lovely morning. Today, we are joined by the team at Pearson to discuss T levels and what they have to offer as a job opportunities at Pearson as well. Remember, this session is recorded, so if you do have any information missed, don't worry, it will be on our YouTube and website, respectively, within the end of the week. There will be a Q&A as well at the end of the webinar, so feel free to leave any questions in the chat and we will come to them at the end of the session. So without further ado, I'll pass on to the Pearson team to continue with their session.
Good morning, everyone. Lovely to see so many of you here virtually, and welcome to our session on T-levels. Now, this is a session for you, so please ask as many questions as you like. We want you to leave here with a lot more information and knowledge than when you arrived, but also tailored to you. So each of you will have different reasons for looking at T-levels, things that you want to do in the future, potential careers that you want to undertake. So hopefully there's something for you all. So without stopping, let's move on then. And so a little bit about what we're going to cover with you this morning then. So a bit about us, Pearson, and Siobhan and myself, we're both with Pearson. We'll introduce ourselves in a minute. We're keen for you to know that we are an employer and what that means. So we're just going to do a little bit about that. A general introduction to T-levels, what they're about, why they came about, how they're structured. A video. Hopefully that will be interesting for you. And then obviously the decisions, why would you go for a T-level over anything else? What's the benefits of doing it? What does it do for you in terms of your career progression? And then we'll do very much a session on practicalities. And we're lucky that we've got a colleague here, Liam Plumridge, who's with the Uxbridge, Harrow and Richmond College. There he is. And he's joining us and we'll do a session as well along with Siobhan. So without any ado, here's Siobhan and myself. Sorry about that. You have to put up with our pictures. A little bit about our backgrounds. I mean, Siobhan and myself, we work in the human resources element within Pearson, in one of the divisions, and we look after the internal apprenticeship program and also early talent. So hence why T-levels, internships, apprenticeships, and anything else like that comes into our remit. As you can see there, we both have got numerous years, for me far too many, in the apprenticeship world and government funding. I'm a former Ofsted inspector a few years ago. Siobhan's worked for local authorities. So between us, we actually bring quite a lot of knowledge, but we're based within a corporate organisation, which is actually really, really interesting. So we've created programs within the business that are fit for what the business needs, but we think are really a great experience for anybody that comes in onto a program as well. So in terms of Pearson then, you're going to know who Pearson is from an awarding body perspective. Some of you will be using GCSEs, A-levels, even some of the T-levels are Pearson's. But what we wanted to do was just sort of show you who Pearson is outside of that, who the sort of the parent family is. So we're a leading learning company. We're really known internationally across near enough 200 countries. We've got over 20,000 people working full time for us, plus a significant number that are part-time, sometimes school time as well. And we're all about learning, but not just in the education sense. We are adult learners. We work with big companies in terms of their internal learning programs. We're very much focused on digital learning, virtual learning, online learning, interactive learning, bite-sized learning. Like you see, learning is a theme that runs through everything that we do. And I think that's one reason, certainly, why Siobhan and I joined the organisation, was that learning is at the heart of everything that we do. And it is so rewarding to see an organisation that is constantly helping people to be the best that they can be. And it's a lot of change. You'll be hearing about it, I'm sure. But for us, we are hugely now into the digital and online learning. We've moved away from publishing and more of the physical books and learning resources. So it's quite an exciting time to be in a business like ours, where we've got lots of new things that are coming to the marketplace. So T-levels then. So they came in 2020. And I heard about them a few years previously to that, and I thought, you know what, these are really quite interesting from an employer perspective. They give us an opportunity to work with some really high quality young people who have almost, said, this is the career that I want to undertake, and have really seen the benefit of an industrial placement alongside the academic content. And that's really what you're getting with a T-level. It's a different way of learning to A-levels. It's very vocationally orientated, even though it's got academic content. And I have to say, it is still very challenging. It is equivalent to 3 A-levels, but it's had a lot more employer involvement in its design, which means that it's very much about the skills that employers are looking for now, but also in the future. It's very linked to new roles that are beginning to emerge in all the different sectors. The nice thing about it is it's been a phased rollout, so that over the last 3 years, there's been a few T-levels launched every year, which means that it's tried and tested. It's being evaluated as it goes. We had the first achievers come through in 2022, so we can now look back and say, we've had a whole cohort over 2 years to say, what worked well, what didn't work well. And you've got employers involved in all of that. We're part of obviously the industrial placement, but we also get involved in the employer project. We're involved in designing the look and feel of T-levels as well. And they've got fantastic progression routes as well. You will have heard recently that UCAS is now going to have apprenticeship vacancies on its platform. Well, also a number of universities accept T-levels as entry requirements as well. So there's been a lot of changes and a lot of things changing fast. And T-levels is one of those things that it's important to get to know what they can offer you, because there are options that you can undertake. So before
can I just stop you there? Are we going to play the video? I think
hang on. I'm just about to do that, actually. Let me just finish this one and then we'll do the video. I'm going to show you the video after this because I just wanted you to sort of have an understanding of the structure. So when you do a T-level, you've got the core curriculum, which is your academic content. Then you do pathways, and then you can also do English and Maths if you don't already have it. And then you've got the industrial placement, which is a minimum of 45 days, and we could talk a lot about that. So let's do the video, which is a government video, and then I'll come back and do a little bit more depth on the background of a T-level. Up to you, Siobhan.
Andy, are you able to play the video, please? Thank you.
Welcome to the next level, T-levels, the post-GCSE qualification that combines in-class learning and work experience. It's the best of both worlds, where theory meets practice. It's the know-how. T-levels are designed with 250 leading employers, so students can focus on the knowledge and skills businesses really need today and tomorrow. The subject list is growing year on year, with 24 courses available by 2023. Each one opening doors to work placements, industry contacts, and career paths. One T-level is worth 3 A-levels. From here, students can go anywhere. Onto university, take on a higher apprenticeship, or launch your career and get straight into work. This is more than a qualification. Designed with employers, we're creating young people who are work ready, full of fresh ideas and practical skills, ready to shake up the industry and take businesses to the next level. So what are you waiting for? Get clued up, skilled up, and leveled up. Opportunities are there for the taking. Get ahead. T-levels, the next level qualification.
Thank you so much, Andy and Siobhan. Okay, I can see some questions coming through, and I think it's just a perfect time just to link those to some of the things I've just said. Yes, you can go to university after completing a T-level. As I said, a lot of universities now have those on UCAS in terms of points, and it is a natural progression. The progression is also into higher apprenticeships, so that's level 4, 5 and upwards. They were launched in 2020, and as I say, they've been phased over the last 3 years, so they're not all there at the moment. There's at least another round to happen in 2024 and another round in 2025 as well. Not all schools and colleges offer them, so this is again phased, so some are looking into it. Certainly a lot more this year than previously, because there was a pilot phase as well, and a lot of sixth forms are now beginning to look at them as well as an option that sits alongside A levels. And certainly they're very, very strong within the college sector as well. In terms of the standard of the qualification, they're really robust. They've been through the same quality checks as any other qualification that's got government funding attached to it, that's delivered by schools or colleges. So the same quality assurance arrangements, the same methodology for assessments, moderation, it's all there. And Pearson, as an awarding organisation, also writes some of the T-level qualifications, and they've applied exactly the same mechanisms as they do for their BTECs, GCSEs and A-levels, the same as any other awarding body. And Ofqual and Ofsted also are the regulators and the inspectorate, and we'll be looking at these alongside all the other qualifications and programs that are on offer as well. So they're very mainstream. Yes, they're new, but they're definitely gaining traction. And I think it is the attraction of that industrial placement, to be honest with you. You know, having 45 days minimum across the 2 years of the programme, working with any sort of organisation, it needs to be a company that is offering a placement in the T-level that you're undertaking at the high level. So construction company for construction, digital tech, obviously a digital tech role, but not necessarily a digital tech company. The same with management, could be in any company, but it is about that linked up feeling between the academic learning and then putting it into practice, and doing it in such a way that it benefits the student, most definitely. And as you can see there, you know, it's a really quite substantial qualification. Again, written with the fact that it is equivalent to 3 A-star A-levels, and is to give you the entry criteria for going on to university, if that is what you as a student wish to do. Okay, I'm going to now hand over to Siobhan, who's going to talk to you a little bit more about, you know, some of the benefits of why you would consider doing a T-level.
Thank you, Anne. Good morning, everyone. It's Work Experience Week, and for some of you, you will be looking at your options for maybe shorter work experience placements, and that's fantastic. All the work experience that you can get as a young person really benefits you in your career. At Pearson, we've really taken T-levels to be our work experience offer. As a business, we really feel that that longer period of working and getting to know you as a young person and you on your career journey benefits us as a business, but you as well. So we've really bought into it as a business, and it's our main vehicle that we use for work experience. But why should you as a student consider a T-level? I mean, extraordinary times. We've really gone through it with the pandemic. The world has changed very quickly about how we adapt to work. The pace and change of the products and services that organisations offer really needs that kind of young, vibrant, early talent joining their business. And we get that through degree routes and people joining us as graduates, but we very much see the need for more younger talent joining us for the 45 days during a T-level, but again, onto things like apprenticeships as part of their next steps. So it's very much the stepping stone into the world of work. They have been designed, as Anne said, with employers, and they've been heavily endorsed and checked by Ofqual and the regulators in the UK to ensure that they are the most up-to-date and relevant learning experience. that are delivered in colleges and training providers to prepare you for the world of work. So very much kind of at the heart of T-levels is making sure that they're fit for purpose for your career now and into the future, whilst underpinning some of those softer, more employability ready skills as well. It's a really great way for you at 16 or 17 when you're thinking of applying for a T-level to experience what it's really like to go through an application process for a job. So at Pearson, we mirror the application that we do for our apprenticeships and any other roles for T-levels, giving you that real true sense of what it's like to go through a full recruitment and selection process. Within a short period of starting your T-level, most employers do start the placement in year 1. You'll be in an office or a working environment where you're experiencing it firsthand, what it's like to be at work, you know, preparing you on that journey of what it's like to actually get up every morning, and as opposed to going to more of a learning environment and supportive college environment, what it's really like to be in the workplace. For some of you on this call, T-levels may be really aligned to the career that you would like to go into. With lots of different sectors supporting T-levels, you could potentially start your dream job much earlier and get your foot on that career ladder. I know there's been some questions in the chat which we've answered regarding sort of the recognition of the T-levels. Employers like Pearson and a lot of the big organisations support T-level industry placements. We really value them because they are that equivalent to 3 A-levels. They're not easy. And we recognise that, and you have to do an industry placement alongside them. So we really see that this makes candidates stand out to us as the top talent for joining our business. If you want to go on to university, that's a great progression route after T-levels, and they do give you the UCAS points that you need equivalent to those 3 A-levels, depending on your result. You will have seen as well that lots of T-level students last year were accepted into universities. It was the first time that a full group of students had been through it, and the results were really good. We had some fantastic digital technology T-level students with us in Pearson, and a number of them went on to higher level apprenticeships, and a number also went on to university. I'm delighted to see as well that 26 of the top 50 universities in the UK are accepting T-level students. So what are the benefits of a T-level? I mean, from the employer point of view, we really see the benefit of getting you into our business very early on. It's a two-way kind of trial, really, to see if you like the business and the role that you're in. Often we get students come along and they have an idea of what they would like to do, but when they actually start the role, it's not what they were expecting. So it's a really good way for you to kind of test something out and bridge that kind of opportunity between college and that supportive environment, or maybe a school, into employment. There's lots of support wrapped around T-levels, and you're also supported by your teachers in the classroom whilst on the placement. Undoubtedly, probably the biggest benefit of a T-level is learning those new skills, and they are linked to occupational areas. They're up to date, as we've said, with employers feeding into what the learning is all about, and you're getting those really vital skills, knowledge and behaviours that you need for your career, but also what employers are looking for. It's a great way to develop your professional network. And we can't stress this enough in Pearson, actually, the importance of connecting with other colleagues within our business, people in areas that you might have interest. Somebody might be a lot further on in their career. Often they will act as a mentor for you. And it gives you that confidence as well to be able to communicate and work with people from a range of different backgrounds. We really value them in Pearson, and we know that from talking to other employers, they do too. So the achievement of a T-level is definitely recognised at the highest level by employers. It makes you stand out from the crowd. So often it can be difficult to get work experience. And I know during the pandemic, that has also been a real challenge for a number of you. So this is an opportunity to get some tangible and longer term work experience in a company that will endeavour in the future to stand you out from the crowd. So at Pearson, us as the employer, and as Anne said at the outset, we are an awarding body and we're heavily involved in the design of T-levels, but we recognise as a business that we also need to have this top talent joining us so that we can fulfil the strategy that we have within our business objectives. We currently offer T-levels in management and administration, digital production design and development, and we are also looking to offer an engineering T-level in our Hellaby site. We currently have T-level students on placements with us in our London 80 Strand office and in our Manchester office. The roles really do vary. The management and administration T-level has given us more scope within our business to offer a variety of different roles in more events and marketing settings, but also in HR. And I hope that we might even have our T-level student on the call this morning. She is our early talent advisor T-level student. She's doing fantastically well. And we also have some in our IT hub in our 80 Strand office, which is our very busy area where we have all of our colleagues who have any IT needs that come along, be it with our laptops or online connections. And those T-level students are getting the first-hand what it's like to be able to support internal customers within our business. And they're developing things like desk side support skills, infrastructure technician skills, networking skills. But we're also looking to offer more variety of digital tech T-level roles in things like software development and user experience design. As we've said at the outset, and Anne's talked about this, it is a minimum of 45 days placement over the 2-year duration of a T-level. In Pearson, we tend to probably offer a little bit more than this. We ensure that you definitely meet the minimum, but we go over and beyond. And that really is because the students enjoy coming in and really benefit from it. We tend to offer the placements from January of the first year of the T-level right through into the kind of the summer period of year 2, with 1 to 2 days a week of placement. We are really, really committed to helping students succeed on their T-level. So we're very much a font of knowledge and someone there to support the employer set project and other assignments that are due during the T-level. We really feel that there's no better way that you can excel in those projects than being on site. And we definitely do most of our T-levels in an office on site, face to face with colleagues, where you're getting all of that learning that you can bring that back and put that into practice into the assignments and the assessments that you have to do for your T-level. You will have a dedicated line manager. Coming on site, we make sure the line manager or a dedicated mentor is there when you're in placement. We really feel that it's needed for the collaboration of new employees to encourage you to be part of that team, part of the culture of our business, and really get to know us, and we get to know you as well. At Pearson, we always start any T-level placement opportunity with an insight day or insight webinar. So if you are interested in a T-level with Pearson, please do reach out to some of the local providers that we work with, and you're going to hear from Liam from Harrow, Uxbridge and Richmond College, in which we work very closely to offer T-levels. We offer an insight day with the college where you can come on site, find out about the job roles that we have, find out about a bit more about Pearson, about the team that you would work in, and also about the recruitment activity, so that you're really supported to understand exactly how you'll be selected for the T-level. We have great track records as well of people progressing on to great things after they leave our T-level. So last year we had 4 software developers and they've gone on to other apprenticeships with other organisations, and 1 has gone on to university. We also offer level 4 apprenticeships. So the idea would be that in time that you could join our business on something like a software development apprenticeship or even management. I think you can probably hear from the team at Pearson, we're quite committed to T-levels. We really see the benefit of them. So we're part of that journey with you, and we really want to celebrate your achievements. So I'm delighted to also say that we hold a celebration event at the end of the T-level placement, where we give you a certificate, and we have an event where we really celebrate your achievement alongside the college. We've also had students come along and they bring their parents, and it's a really nice afternoon to celebrate what is a really hard qualification to get through. We also issue all of our T-level successful students with a Credly digital badge. And again, it's a great way for you to be able to showcase your achievement on things like LinkedIn and through the professional networks that you would have created. So here's Petronella, and Petronella joined a T-level placement with Pearson in January this year. She has been coming into our office 1 day a week, usually just 1 day a week. Some students come in 2 days a week. Some of our IT Hub students come in 2 days a week. She's an early talent placement student, so she supports Anne and myself in the HR team in anything from prepping for new recruitment activity, having to do things like checking of job descriptions that they're complete, working with our recruiter who's based in the Philippines, helping with setting up for induction days and events. So the role is wide and vast in terms of the different tasks that she's getting involved in. When I asked her recently why she chose a T-level route, she said that she liked the job options that the T-level would give her, especially that the management and administration is a lot broader than some of the more concentrated construction T-levels and maybe those some in health. So she felt that gave her a lot more kind of work experience exposure, and that she would be more employable to organisations in the future. How is it going? So far, from my point of view, as one of her mentors, it's going exceedingly well. She is somebody who has a great attitude, is curious, is always willing to put herself forward and say yes to things. One of the things that she said was that she was surprised how friendly the work environment was. And I think for some of you students who've had very little work experience, that might be one of the key things for you to do, is just to get as much as you can to maybe break down those barriers, the fear factor of coming into a large employer, because we are quite friendly. We are here to support you. We want you to succeed. She really feels that she could be herself at Pearson and ask lots of questions, which was really great for me to hear, because that's exactly what we want students to feel. Petronella is actually a student with Harrow, Richmond and Uxbridge College on the Management and Administration T-level. She started in September 2022. She's quite early on in her journey. So we thought it would be great to have Liam Slungridge, Head of Employability from the college, to talk a little bit about T-levels that they offer at their college, but also the application route for somebody who would like to start a T-level and is in your position right now thinking about your options and whether or not it could be your next step. So I'll hand over to you, Liam.
Thank you, Siobhan. Good morning, everybody. I hope you're well, and welcome from sunny London this morning. My name is Liam Plumridge, Head of Employability for Harrow, Richmond and Uxbridge College Group. And we were really pleased to be one of the first providers in the country to deliver T-levels as part of Wave 1 T-level provider. I just want to talk to you this morning about our current offer, but also give you an opportunity to understand the different technical levels that we have in the T-levels. So first of all, one of our first T-levels we had at the college was our digital production design and development, which is about software development. And you've heard from Siobhan there that we've had students at Pearson actually do that, a work placement for that T-level. So these are for students who want to get into work in the digital space, developing software, developing applications. It's been quite a successful T-level for us. We also have our Harrow campus, our digital business services T-level, which is actually with an occupational specialism. I just want to clarify that, and I know it was mentioned earlier on, but the T-level is the overarching qualification, and then you have a specialism in which looks at jobs in a bit more detail. And for example, for us, and for this qualification, it would be the data technician T-level. So looking at big data and how we can analyze and all that kind of really important stuff. We've got a brand new T-level starting in September 2023, which is our construction T-level, which is about being a quantity surveyor. So if you're ever interested in being a quantity surveyor, that is something that we're going to be doing and working with the construction industry to really support what is a real growing market in construction. We've also got mechanical engineering T-level, and we've been working with some really big employers such as Heathrow and Fujitsu and the Royal Aeronautical Society to really allow our learners to have, real like work placements. And then for those learners who want to go into the childcare settings or into nurseries, we have a T-levels in the education and childcare space. And then we've got our management administration, which you saw Petronella there, one of our students doing really well, and she's doing her management administration T-level with her placement at Pearson, but her team leadership and management occupational specialism. And then finally our technical qualification in science, which is our lab technician occupational specialism. So learners working with the NHS, working with universities and private companies looking at research. Just also to say there are other T-levels that we are going to be doing in the future, including in health, in plumbing, in electrician, if you want to be an electrician, and also in accounting. So those T levels are on the horizon, and also the year after, looking at T levels in legal services. So if you want to go into the space of law, so traditionally, if you wanted to be a lawyer, you'd have to do A levels, but the T level would now allow learners to go and study law at university. So Siobhan's happy to talk about entry requirements, and the T levels are challenging, and it's really important to manage your expectation. They're a really excellent qualification, but they are challenging, and it's important to be challenged as a young person, absolutely. And our learners, we do ask them to have, on most of our qualifications, 5 GCSEs grade 9 to 4, which was the old A star to C. And we actually ask for both English and maths. So if you're doing your GCSEs right now, do really work hard on making sure you try and get that English and maths grade to a grade 4, because that's really important. Because what we don't want learners to do is having to do their English and maths alongside their T levels, because of course, the 40 days, the 45 days of industry work placement. Of course, if you are at college already, a level 2 qualification at merit or above is also accepted as well. And then for our engineering pathways, we also expect learners to have GCSEs in science and either design, technology, business, or ICT. So it's really important that you are looking at those requirements. I'm going to hand over to Siobhan to talk about the next
Thank you, Liam.
moment. And very nice to meet you all.
Liam, I've got a question that's come in that I think actually probably we haven't touched on. Can you say a little bit about how the T levels are graded?
Yes, I can do. So there are, and I'm going to try and do this in the really easiest, quickest fashion. So thank you for your question about how they're graded, Nikki. They're graded with, so it will be, there are obviously it's a 2-year qualification. So you have you have an employer set project, you have examinations, and you also have qualification. You have your industry placement as well, and it's graded based on distinction, merit, pass. Okay, so it could be distinction star, it could be merit, it could be pass, and 65 universities in the country are now offering T levels, are accepting T levels for UCAS, and lots more are doing so. So it's a qualification that's really on the up, and T levels are going to be staying for a long time. So hopefully this conversation today will allow people to feel more familiar with that.
Thank you, Liam. I've got one more, and I think it's a question that young people do worry about, is if they don't like the role when they try it, what are the options then? So have you had any experience with students who have started a T level, maybe started with a company? I know we haven't at Pearson. We've had 100% people who started have completed, but what would happen if someone didn't like the role or the placement? What other options are there?
Yeah, I think the first thing that's really important is that you don't just get put straight onto a placement. There is a preparation period by your school or college, so to prepare you and make sure to match you to that industry placement. That's what we do here at our college. We make sure that learners are fully clear and fully understanding on what they are going into. Of course, so it's really important that when you go onto a work placement, that you understand that there are going to be jobs that you aren't going to like. And I think that's where there will be things that, in work, that's what happens. And there are things that you're going to like about managing those responsibilities. So first of all, if you do go into a placement and within a week you still don't like it, don't give up straight away, because actually you might find in 2, 3, 4 weeks that actually you really get adapted to the organisation. So that's my first bit of advice. If after a month you're still not finding it what you want it to be, then of course you go back to your organisation and see what other opportunities there are. Okay. The placement is a compulsory part of a T level, so that is really important. You cannot get your qualification without a placement. But I think it is excellent that you are having to go to work, and many companies are recruiting these students straight after they've done their T level. So if you're more of a person that thinks, I actually want to go straight to work after college, then the T level is really suited, because what it does, it gives you opportunities to really shine in the company. And that company might go, I really like that person, I really want them to stay, let's give them a job. So not all the time, because obviously there are some places that cannot do that, but it's really important to have that resilience and show that toughness when you're on placement.
Completely echo that. And someone mentioned or asked a question about, would you do the placement at the start, so rather than studying for so long, you can find out first if you like it? And I think you've just touched on that there, that a lot of employers like to take placement students well into year 2, where they have a bit more of the underpinning knowledge that they've learned on the T level. They've matured a bit more. They've had a bit more kind of support through the college, time to maybe research exactly what they want to do in their career, so they can ask the appropriate questions and maybe ask what the business can help in other areas if there's another area they're interested in. So we tend not to do the placement at the start. And I think for that reason that you've outlined as well, Liam, is that you do a lot of preparation in the college. There will be a lot of taster days, insight events, so you can get a feel for that organisation. But we tend to feel that you need to kind of prioritise getting some of the knowledge of the T level, the understanding of why you've selected that particular T level. And there's a lot of learning that you have to do front loaded as well. And we feel that that really helps you with the preparation for the placement, the interviews, the selection process, and just generally being more ready to join an organisation. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely right. And, you know, the whole point of this is you're not going to be ready for industry straight away. And, you know, one of the things that we're finding at the moment is that at 16, people think they are ready to go straight into work, which is great confidence. But actually, there is a lot of learning to be done. And hence why this placement allows you to do so, and the T level allows you to do so. The reason why the government have asked for T levels more, because they've looked at models in other countries, so particularly in France and Germany, where this is a model that is working well already. And it's about improving the technical skills of the country and to improve the economy. So, and in order to do that, you've got to learn a lot. And we're not expecting people to learn that all in one day and all learn that all in one go. And I have to say, Pearson have been excellent with our learners, because giving students the opportunity to really grow and make mistakes, because that is the really important thing about work. You are allowed to make mistakes as long as you know how you're going to improve that mistake next time. But yeah, please do ask more questions. You know, we are, you know, the T level is an excellent qualification for young people, and is a really good one. And employers love it, as we can see here this morning.
Mm-hmm. Can I just add? I've just been answering some of the questions. I've just put in the government guidance around the UCAS tariff for the distinction merit requirements of the T level. As you can see, I think someone thought they were only going to get 3 UCAS points. Absolutely not. It's significantly more than that. And there is actually a grading matrix as well for each T level. So just be aware of that. Liam, I was just going to ask you, in terms of enrolment numbers this year, have you seen a significant growth in numbers on T levels for September?
A steady growth in numbers. And I think that's because obviously for many students will be aware that obviously the level 3 qualifications are being reviewed and changed across the country. So traditional qualifications that we are all used to, such as BTECs, some of those may no longer exist as a result of these T levels being a really big priority of the government. So, you know, we're expecting in 2 or 3 years' time to have about between 700 to 1,000 T levels, which is a lot of learners, but also that means 700 to 1,000 T level placements. So they are a big task and a big undertaking, but we absolutely think they're the right way to go to allow learners to, you know, either, I think traditionally you either did an A level and then went straight to university, or T levels allow students who don't want to go to university. There are lots of more opportunities. There are technical apprenticeships. There are going back and doing level 3 apprenticeships. And there's lots and lots of other routes now than the old days of A level and uni. So hopefully we can see those in those numbers.
Thank you. Okay. Somebody was just asking about entry requirements as well. And I think it's fair to say that the entry requirements are not set by Pearson. They are set by the government in terms of going on to the T levels. We as Pearson, the employer, we're not looking for entry criteria at all. You're on a T level. We do an insight session. And obviously we're hopeful that when you come to an insight session with us, you're interested, you ask us loads and loads of questions, you show that you understand who we are as a global business. And that really is what will get you into an interview situation with us, rather than necessarily any academic qualifications per se. And that applies also when going on to progression into higher apprenticeships as well. You know, we're looking for people that are a great fit to the teams they're going to join and have a real passion for what we do in Pearson and for the job they're going to do. And, you know, Siobhan is very much part of interviewing for that. In fact, she's got an interview for a higher apprentice later on today, haven't you, Siobhan?
Yes, I do. Yeah. And that moves us on quite nicely about, obviously you have to apply for a T-level with the college, and Liam's outlined some of the requirements. But as Anna said, we very much look at the fit for the person. And that's why we really value industry placements, because we think it gives a really great opportunity for us to work alongside a student and to see if the fit and the alignment works for both them and us, and potentially could they join our business. So I wouldn't get too worried about the industry placement recruitment process. In fact, actually, I think it's a really great opportunity for you to kind of experience it. If you're not successful in getting your first placement, don't worry, you'll get the feedback and you just try again. We always give feedback to those that we haven't been able to support. Fortunately, we've seen such great students that our managers have actually taken more T-level students than we had initially planned. And also from talking to the college and Liam, I know that all of the management and administration students at the college this year have already got placements, have already started. So you'll be really well supported on that industry placement recruitment piece. But in terms of some hints and tips for you, and this is just generally when you're looking for work experience and how you can go about finding some companies to work with, is research the companies that you potentially would like to work with. Somebody mentioned EDF. You know, go onto their website, see who they work with in terms of local colleges and providers for T-level placements. Check out their websites, their social media. A lot of people now are really publicising what it's like to be a T-level student, a day in the life of a T-level student. I know that Petronella has been helping me with some TikToks on that. So do lots of research about the career and area you'd like to move into, and then those companies that are well known for potentially supporting T-level placements. Reach out to your local provider. In most instances for T-levels, that will be your local FE college, but sixth forms and schools are also offering T-levels. You can never be sort of too early prepared for these sorts of things. So getting going on your CV, even if you're only in year 10, you can start a CV, putting on your achievements, the highlights, any volunteering you've done, part-time work. So putting that all there ready for you to apply for your T-level and also the industry placement. All placements come with a job description, so very much mirroring that as an apprenticeship role or a normal permanent hire. So they're a really great place to start, where they'll give you a little bit of insight about what the job is, who the team are potentially, where it's based, the day-to-day roles and responsibilities, and the skills and maybe some experience that the employer will be looking for from you in order to go forward. I mean, employers understand that for some of you, this may be your first ever kind of taste of applying for roles and for attending a job interview. So it's really good practice to sort of practice as much as you can with your careers lead and family and friends. You know, the more that you can practice and get ready for interviews, the better. The other thing I would say is these typical questions come up at interview, especially for T-level placements and apprenticeships, where we understand that you're not going to be able to talk about the skill set that we're looking for right now. That's why you're coming on to the T-level, and that's why you're coming on to an apprenticeship. We will help you develop those skills. So we'll often ask things like, tell us a bit about yourself. We want to get to know you as a person. We want to know how you might like working at Pearson and stand for the same values. We'll often ask things like, why do you want to work for that organisation? If it was with Pearson, we would definitely ask that, why do you want to work for Pearson? What was it about this particular role or T-level placement that draws you in? We might ask things like, what do you plan to do after your T-level qualification? And I've sat through quite a few of these recently where the students have been quite clear on what they'd like to do after the T-level, and that's been great to hear. But likewise, we're not expecting everyone to have worked out at the start of a T-level placement what they're going to do two years in. So, you know, just have some questions prepared as well for asking us as well. So you might want to ask a bit more about the job role. You might want to ask about the team. And you might want to ask about maybe prior students that have been on placement and what the success of that was like. We've been running them now for a number of years, and I am getting to kind of understand more about what our managers look for in a great placement student. And they are things like being really knowledgeable about why you chose a T-level. Why is it that you particularly want to go into that career? And that just shows commitment to your self-development as well and your future development. We're really looking for students who are willing to just throw themselves into things and to say yes, try things out, be curious, adaptable, agile. These are the types of skills that we're really looking for, whilst also being really professional. And we understand that for some of you, this is all quite new and you might never have had that kind of exposure to the world of work. But really ask questions, ask the team exactly how you can be learning. You know, observation in an office environment or a workplace environment really will help you to understand them kind of professional standards that employers are looking for. And in terms of skills, Pearson have an outlook report that comes out each year, and power skills that we've recognised that the world needs, but also employers more importantly need, are looking for different types of skills and talent capabilities in the next few years. And the top 5 currently are communication, customer service, leadership, attention to detail, and collaboration. And I know that the new skills outlook report for the UK was just published last week, and there's still high value placed on these 5 power skills, but the other things that they've picked up on are things like teamwork and problem solving abilities. So any way that you can use the T-level learning that you're putting into practice or what you've done during your GCSEs, align into these types of power skills, and adding them to things like your CV will really be beneficial to you going forward. And I think we have about 10 minutes for questions. So, Anne, was there anything in the chat that you wanted to pick up on?
I mean, I've been picking up on things as we go through. So I don't know, Andy, is there anything that I've missed?
No, you've mostly answered
You've been
everything
beavering away. I can see lots of responses.
Yeah, that's some really, really interesting questions ranging from all sorts of things. But I think perhaps it's the industrial placement that people, because that's the new bit and the bit that's really makes T-level stand out from anything else, that I think we probably just need to do a little bit more on. I mean, I know we've talked about interviewing and stuff, but from an employer perspective, and the reason why Pearson got involved in T-levels, and you'll hear this, I'm sure, from other employers, is that, you know, we need a talent pipeline. We want really good, interested, motivated young people to join our business. And to have a young person in our business for 2 years where you get to know us and we get to know you is just invaluable. And it means you're in a fantastic position because you know the managers, you know the teams, you've probably done a little bit of a round robin if you're lucky. And when a vacancy comes up, particularly a higher level apprenticeship vacancy, then it's natural that you could apply for that. And because they know you've got a slightly, you know, head start, if you like. So for me, I see it as a no-brainer, really, in terms of bringing young people into the business. And we're really lucky that over these last few years, probably 3 in total, that we've been doing T-level seriously. We've had some great talent, as Siobhan has said, and we've celebrated that talent within the business and externally. And it's meant that our managers are now coming to us and saying, we would love a T-level student. We're hearing about this. We're seeing the caliber of candidate. We want some of that too. And that's exactly what we hope for. And that every year we will bring more and more in, and where somebody is rolling off a T-level and then moving on to university or hopefully staying with us, then we'll have other T-level students coming in. So it really is an opportunity for young people to start, you know, they get that foot in the door with an employer that they hopefully think will be one that can give them a career. And I just think that is what makes the T-levels particularly stand out from anything else.
Just adding to that, Anne, I think as well, some of the new ideas and perspectives that young T-level students bring to our business is just fantastic. And not to kind of oversee in terms of like people, I think young people worry that they can't always bring those more savvy social media, up-to-date kind of trends, you know, because they are our customers in many cases. So they are very much at the heart of what we want to hear from learners, from their views, from consumers. So that's been one of the things I think that the T-level students have also really enjoyed, is that their voice is heard. They're actually a really great asset to a team quite quickly. And then that also helps them with the kind of feeling more kind of at ease, and they see where they fit within the organisation really quickly. And potentially, like you said, they could be then our pipeline into something more permanent.
And I think in terms of small businesses, they're seeing the attraction too, because having a young person in working on projects, and we actually had 4, didn't we, a couple of years ago, who worked on developing one of our websites, and they worked as a project team with the manager, and the manager was blown away at how well they stepped into that and understood how to work in a team, and actually was so professional that they achieved that website ahead of schedule. So from us as a business, there's a real tangible impact from them. I've just seen a question for you, I think, Liam, around maths A-levels and further maths in terms of moving on to university. Are you able to answer that? It's if you're doing an engineering T-level and there's maths, you'd probably have a maths A-level before you join it, but then do you then need to go on and do further maths to progress onto an engineering degree?
No, and I'm not an engineering expert, but I pretend to be one. But my understanding and what we are seeing from other colleges is that the engineering learners who are doing T-levels, the content is very highly advanced. So I don't know further maths myself, but I would imagine it covers that quite comprehensively. But you do not need further maths as part of for the university if you've got an engineering T-level. That's my understanding. I don't, but you must make sure you check your UCAS requirements before you apply for a university. But the idea of these qualifications, they were built in so you did not need to have lots and lots and lots of separate qualifications. You could have a standalone T-level like the one that we're doing, for example.
I mean, somebody's just asking what's in it for the employer. And I think I might have just answered that, but just in a nutshell, is it's just a great way to get talent in. And it for 2 years, you're testing us out and we're testing you out. So if you like, it's a really long interview process for both of us, but in a nice way. That's cost effective for us. Also, the other benefit is that our managers are getting development. What we're tending to do is we're putting, is managers that are fairly new into position, or even some of our apprentice managers as the manager of the T-level student. And of course, they're learning. And we do it all with a very structured approach of support around them too. So there's a win-win for us, there really is. And, that's from a big employer, but I would say that's probably going to be the same for others. We don't get paid as employers, no. We're just supporting you. We actually do help financially with any costs that you might incur in joining us. But for us, it's about that talent that you bring and the benefit, as Siobhan said, of your thoughts, ideas and perspectives into what we're working on.
Great, perfect. Here's a question for all of you. Obviously, for our attendees, there's a lot of companies and it's National Work Experience Week. There's a lot of companies who are doing webinars. Why Pearson? What makes Pearson stand out for T-levels and work experience?
Oh, I'll start because I'm just that way. We're an international company. And what that means to a T-level student is that every day you can get to work with international teams. Obviously it will be remote. We can't have you flying here, there and everywhere, unfortunately. That would be a safeguarding issue. But you get to work with colleagues who are doing really exciting things across the international landscape. And also, because we are so big, we can introduce you to colleagues in different parts of the business. So, our T-level student at the moment is going to get a little bit of a flavour in marketing, a little bit of a flavour in HR. That's some of the things that we as a business can bring. And of course, we're a learning company too. And that has a very interesting culture behind it. So if that's the sort of thing you're interested in, say you're aspiring to be a teacher in the future, then maybe coming into Pearson could be good. If you're wanting to be part of a company that's really driving digital learning and using the latest in machine learning and AI, then we're the sort of company. So that's what I would say. Siobhan, go on. What would you say?
I would basically sort of agree with that, apart and just myth bust around the fact that we are a learning company. So with that comes that supportive culture of kind of mentorship and further development for you as an individual. But by being that global FTSE 100, we have got so many different teams and functions. So yes, if you want to go down the teaching route, we definitely have that ethos and kind of community of learning. But likewise, we have finance, we have IT, we have all of the digital skills, we have HR, we have marketing, we have all the kind of what sits behind a global organization, with such a breadth that we can basically put you in front of so many different departments while on a placement, that you're not just kind of, if you go to an accounting company, they're only going to be doing accountancy, or if you're going to a construction company, we are able to cover such a broad spectrum within that culture of kind of support. And I think that's what makes us stand out, is that we are really supportive. And I think our T-level students would agree with that. In the celebration event, they've all really felt that they could succeed and be themselves. So yeah, putting people at ease, really being that kind of first step. I think we're a great entry route way employer for people to come along and join.
We did miss one thing. We got a very snazzy head office on the Strand in London.
Overlooking the London Eye, yes.
Overlooking the London Eye, and it's all been refurbished. And some of those pictures that you can see are what our offices look like. So, and I have to say the donuts are amazing.
I do provide donuts. I will put a link there about that. But also, we work really closely with the college to ensure that students are well supported financially. So they get travel support from the college, and we also cover subsistence costs such as lunch. So, you know, in terms of, again, just helping students and supporting them to be the best, is that we try to help as much as we can as well with that.
Amazing. Is Liam gonna chime in, or has he disappeared? Oh, there he is.
I think you're on mute, Liam. But you look very enthusiastic about Pearson there.
Well, I was going to say I've never had a donut when I've come.
Oh, Liam, you're letting me down. I have to get you a donut next time.
No, I think you know, Pearson are brilliant for us, because the most important thing is that constant communication. It is a very different process, a T-level placement to a work experience placement, and there is a lot more buy-in from the employers to get it right. And I think it's fair. We've sent some really excellent learners, and we've also had some learners who had some challenges. But it is what Pearson are brilliant at, is that those learners with those challenges, there are solutions straight away, like you would have if you had a workforce. You can't just sack people straight away for making a mistake, and that's the same really with a placement learner. If a learner is doing something maybe they should be doing better, then it's about working with them to develop and grow. And actually, I think that's really important. It's that compromise. Traditionally, work experience, if someone made a mistake on day one, they wouldn't be in the building on day two. But I think these placements allow people to have the freedom and ability to express themselves in a bit more. And I will say the office at Pearson is excellent. And the personality. I am very much, as you can tell, a shirt and tie person. But when you work for a FTSE 100 company like that, there are people in jeans, there are people in trainers, there are people in jogging bottoms. You know, it is, you know, the world of work has changed. There is a much more casualness to it. Doesn't mean you can't work hard, but it means you can, you know, be a bit more flexible in your approach. So, no, it's a very good relationship, and long may it continue. And now you're on mute.
I am. It happens to the best of us. Happened to me yesterday as well. But unfortunately, that is all we have time for today. So a big thank you to the team at Pearson for joining us today and taking us through their experiences and showing our attendees what they have to offer. Hope you all found it very insightful in the call and you gained some useful information from this event. Thank you very much. And one last thing, do you have any final words of advice for our attendees here?
Research. Go and speak to your school and your college, find out what they're planning to do for T-levels and have a really good look at them as an option for you.
Perfect.
talk to your family, friends. You know, they're relatively new. We know there's misconceptions. Just do as much research and find out and speak to other students and other students potentially that have been on T-levels. And local providers more and more are providing them, and schools as well. So we look forward to extending our network of placements across the UK as well.
Amazing. Liam, any final words?
He's on mute. There's a piece of advice.
Make sure you're not on mute and everything online things. Be prepared to travel outside your comfort zone. Be prepared to travel outside your normal location. So don't expect you're going to be down the road, and manage your expectations. Be resilient. You know, work at it, and it will work if you put the work in.
Amazing. Thank you very much, guys. I hope everyone has a lovely rest of their day and a good morning.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.